Halloween. It's a time of scariness and a time of horror. The Evil Within, created by Shinji Mikami. Best known for his games like the Resident Evil series and the first Devil May Cry. So, does the Evil Within stand up to the rest of his work? We're gonna find out. There's nothing like a creepy title screen to get you in the mood. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, who's on his way to a distress call at Beacon Mental Hospital. Alongside with his partner Joseph and new lead detective Kidman, they will uncover the truth that lies within. Oh boy. Oh jeez. Wow, a falling body. Just put you in the mood for scariness like that. Sebastian looks through the security footage only to find a man in a white cowl has taken down everyone. Kinda looks like a zombie Assassin's Creed character. I can go with that. After the encounter, Sebastian finds himself hanging upside down, only to be awakened to find he's up close with a super zombie baddie. I don't think super zombie baddie's a thing. Alright, so let's try to sneak out here. Oh wow. Oh shit. So apparently you're supposed to steal his keys. Use the keys to unlock the door and make your escape. But Sebastian is one clumsy guy as he sets off a trap, only to be chased now by a chainsaw-wielding maniac. Wait a minute, hold on. This game is made by the same guy who made Resident Evil, who made Resident Evil 4, who had a chainsaw-wielding maniac. So we have chainsaw-wielding maniac Resident Evil 4, chainsaw-wielding maniac Evil Within.
Is there a little similarity there? Whoa, I think there is.
So to escape him, you sneak around a couple times and you make your way out, escape in the elevator. Okay, cool. So what now? I mean, I've been playing this game for about maybe 15-20 minutes. I so far haven't been scared. I just want to count both those things as scary moments that I didn't get scared out of. Unless I'm tough as nails, this sure doesn't look as scary as they say it is. After making an escape, Sebastian runs outside in the middle of broad daylight to find the buildings are moving. The buildings are moving. Yep, it went to where I don't want it to go. I mean, is this scary? Do you find moving buildings scary? Not to mention it's the middle of broad daylight, which is not scary at all. I mean, if you're gonna create a horror game, at least you gotta find a way to capture the person within, like, the first 30 minutes of the game. Guys, I would love to say it gets better here, but it doesn't. The horror is just not there. So let's move on to the gameplay. Is the gameplay any good? Well, we already saw part of the sneaking. Basically, in the game, you're going to need to sneak. You're going to need it so you can conserve ammo. Now, ammo in this game is very limited. You're going to need to conserve as much ammo as you can for the boss fights. And yes, you're going to need the bullets for the boss fights because bosses need to be defeated with bullets. The way you conserve ammo is by sneak attacking your enemies. Now, you're going to be doing most of this game sneaking around just to conserve ammo, which is not a problem, except it's a horror game and you're doing a whole bunch of sneaking. It kinda just ruins the mood. And it doesn't help that you got these black bars in the way. Now, I usually like the black bars. They usually add for a more cinematic experience, but this is a video game. We don't need to get any more cinematic than it already is. I mean, a video game already brings you into the action. It does what a movie can't. You're playing as a specific character. You're playing as that role. Why do we need to make it more cinematic if it's already cinematic as it can possibly be? And it doesn't help that the camera is terrible. You're gonna have a hard time aiming, let alone trying to figure out where the hell you are. The way they mounted the camera for the third person doesn't really work well. Sure, it's fun to blow the heads off these zombie guys. Who the heck doesn't love blowing the heads off zombies? We all do. Which is why the gameplay is fun. Though the camera angles should have been better, and they should have reworked some of the combat within the game. Let's get back to the weapons and the bullets. You're gonna need the bullets to defeat bosses. The bosses, of course, need to be defeated by bullets, which is great, but in a game where you have a limited supply of bullets, you're gonna have a rough time trying to beat them. especially because if you run out of bullets, you're pretty much done for, and having to start the whole level over again, which is really aggravating. This game works just like Shinja Mikami's last games. It uses a save point feature, where basically you have to get to a specific save point so you can save your game. And at these save points, you can also upgrade your character. That's right, there is a leveling system in this game, which actually does help you benefit with the combat. Sebastian goes through these mirrors and enters basically his mind. Going here, you can pick up collectibles and also level up your character. When you do so, you can level up his abilities, his stock and ammo, the powerful the weapons are, and even his health. Well, what you do in this game to level up is you collect these weird jars of brain pea, or brain matter, or whatever it's called. It's weird green liquid just sitting around everywhere just to take. You can find the green liquid within crates that you break open, in drawers, or just sitting around. You can also get them from fallen enemies. But even with the upgrade in stock of ammo, you're still going to have a hard time defeating the bosses. Now, not all bosses have to die with bullets, but most of them do. Some of them you can use the world around you to defeat them. There's one specific weapon in this game where you had to collect trap parts. Well, traps in this game suck. Okay, they completely suck. They put them all around just to annoy you. Now you can disarm traps to get trap parts. Use trap parts to make agony bolts, and they are used for your agony crossbow. You can make different types of bolts: explosive bolts, poison bolts, electronic bolts. You have a whole bunch of variety of bolts you can use against the zombies. But the thing is, you need to collect these trap parts. You do that by disarming wire traps, bear traps, and also disarming bombs. Now, there's a problem with the disarming bomb parts. Is one, thanks to the whole save file thing, and having to go to certain save points to save your game, you have to risk either disarming that bomb to get the trap parts, or having to start the whole level over again. Now, it would be great if the traps weren't as bad, but it's kind of a 50-50 chance, and in the beginning of the game, you're going to die a lot from it.
I'm fine.
The world of this game is actually done really well. I have to say, they did a really good job with the world here, especially because this game looks pretty dang creepy. Not scary, but creepy. Though part of the textures have to be rendered all the time, especially when they change different angles of shots, it keeps rendering at different points, which I had a problem with because some of the textures in this game aren't fully rendered. Now they use this sort of kind of overly foggy feel, which can also make the view look kind of dullish, which I don't know if that's the style that they were going for, but it doesn't really look right, and again, once again, loses the viewpoint of the person playing it. You're going to have a really hard time looking where you're going in this game. 1/3 of this game you're going to be playing in midday. Not quite the thing you would associate with a horror game, especially because they send hordes and hordes of enemies at times at your character. In the middle of broad day, that doesn't scare anybody, especially if you lose the mystique of these enemies. You lose the mystique of the zombies. They're not dark anymore, they're in the middle of broad daylight. You feel like you are more powerful than them, and you don't feel as scared. But I will have to say, the partner system in this game really works well, especially because the partners are very useful. They actually do damage. At times, I would just let my partner basically take them all down just so I could conserve ammo. Last off, I just want to talk about the characters of this game, and basically the story. Now, I did not really give much for Sebastian's character. One is the fact that he does not care for anybody, including himself. The way he talks, the way he goes about different situations just feels so dull. His character does not work well, and he feels like he has basically no soul at all. Kind of like this game. It really has no real identity of its own. Most of this game looks like it's been taken parts of different horror games. I mean, even the beginning looks like something out of Alone in the Dark. And even the zombies look like they were taken straight from Resident Evil 4. I mean, I know that the same guy made Resident Evil 4, but we don't want the same feel. I might as well just play Resident Evil 4. Even the characters, some of the characters feel like they're from Resident Evil 4 or some other horror game. Especially the enemies. We have a guy who kind of looks like he's from Silent Hill. A guy that exactly looks like the guy from Resident Evil 4. This game has no true identity of its own. And that's the problem that they had with this game. It needs its own identity, yet it doesn't have one. The story doesn't really capture you. In the game, Sebastian is trapped within the mind of a madman, the hooded, cowled guy from the beginning of the game. You are trapped in his world, which is basically why everything's so messed up. Along the way, you learn about what his motives are, and how to stop him. But the game has no emotion, and because it has no true identity, does not help the story at all. Though the game at the end has one of those horror twist endings, which did feel pretty satisfying to me, even though I played through the whole entire game just to get to the end, just so I could know what the ending was. But I think I've said my piece. Now it's time for the final verdict.
Final verdict!
Now I had a little bit of difficulty rating this game, because I didn't know how I was going to go about it, and after finally looking over everything I could think of in this game, I'm going to have to say this game gets a 6 out of 10. This game is fun. You're going to love killing the zombies, as everybody does. Who doesn't love to kill zombies and blow their heads off? It's a fun concept that everybody's loved for years. But the game has its problems. With the weird camera and trying to make it more cinematic when it doesn't have to be, doesn't help the game at all. With the characters and the story just being dull, and a lot of this game being taken from other games, it just feels like it has no identity of its own. Now, a lot of this stuff could be improved, because this game could have a sequel to it. I don't know about that. But if it does, I hope they do improve a lot on what needs to be improved upon. The combat system could use some work. Going about the trap system could also use some work. And the bosses, they need to stop with, if you're going to have conserved ammo in the game, then don't have all the bosses, or most of the bosses, have to be taken down with ammo, because you're just going to get aggravated most of the time. I did find this game to be a little bit aggravating, but I did succeed in finally beating the game. Though I did give it a 6, I still believe it's a little bit above average of a game, though it's not the game I was looking for. And especially a game that was meant to be a horror game did not do well. So thank you guys, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode of the Zehfactor, and I will see you guys later.